Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Lately, we've been winning so much at this whole Gamergate 2 that now we're having to actually try to fight and push back against some of the religious individuals that's been helping us fight in Gamergate. They've now started calling it Goonergate. So much so that they are now comparing the First Ascendant, as you see here on the screen, to porn. So I wanted to have a discussion with my wife, see what her unique perspectives are on this particular conversation and see if she had similar viewpoints as to someone like Melanie Mack. So enjoy the clip. All right, can you see my screen?
Let me see. Yes, I see a half-naked butt in my face. Yes.
What are you talking about? She's wearing a bathing suit. That's essentially a bathing suit, but all right.
Uh-huh.
Have you not seen a Sports Illustrated?
No, I have not actually.
Oh, really? Okay. Anyway, so this whole clip started this whole back and forth on Twitter. So I'm sure you're familiar. You've seen some of my videos. I've made videos about the uglification of women in video games.
You've made videos like that?
Yeah,
I am so shocked.
I know,
Shocked.
right? Right.
Yes, yes.
Okay. So we've made videos, as I said, about how AAA companies have made the women ugly, and just along with other DI stuff in video games, right?
Mhm.
Race swaps, gender swaps, and a lot of people online have been pushing back about this. And you can consider them right wing, consider them middle of the road type people. Definitely not left wing, because most left wing people are okay with this. And I
You're
have a
mainly
cat
a
on my
normal
shoulder.
guy.
Yeah, a normal guy. So one of the reasons First Ascendant was, well, First Ascendant when it came out, it was really popular. Now it's fallen off some because they have like a content issue, right? Just not enough content to keep people playing.
Agreed.
Yeah, but they were really big for a couple of reasons. One, I think just the overall gameplay was fun. You and I, we played it a lot, and we've both had fun with it. And then
Mhm.
the character skins were really good. And
From your
so
perspective, yes, they were.
So a lot of what I see online when they talk about First Ascendant is they like the skins. And so this one person, you remember Luna, right? The new girl they came out with that had like
Yes,
the
a
sound
sniper.
stuff. Yeah. Well, no, not the sniper. That's Haley, I think. Luna is the
Oh, that's
one about the
the
music,
oh, yeah. Okay, yeah, I remember
the
her.
one with
Mhm.
the short hair, and she was
Yeah.
dancing.
Mhm,
Yeah.
yep.
So this person released this little 20-second video of essentially Luna dancing, and they
Dancing.
angled the camera into a particular, point
Area.
of view to
Mhm.
see, some of
Get
the
the best effect.
assets. Yeah, some of the
Yes,
assets that
mhm.
she's working with.
Right.
And, a lot of guys and the people who play this game, they like that. Now, some people like this specifically because it's what maybe a fresher breath of air compared to what you see nowadays in what devs in the Western dev community would ever put. They would never put this into a game today.
So you go to spring break in Florida and you see the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, you see this all the time. Go to the beach, you will see this. I mean, hell, turn on TikTok, Instagram, even X, and you'll see this, right? As you can see here, I initially replied, "Yeah, it's a fun game." I basically agreed that, yeah, it's what gamers want, and what we're implying is we want attractive characters. We want a game to be fun, which this game meets both of those criteria. Like I said earlier, which you agreed to, the issue was that the game lacked content, enough content to keep people playing the game. Well,
And
one of
hot
these
guys skins were missing too, by the way.
they did add a new guy. Now I don't know. I don't think you would like him. But I don't know if they would have like a hot skin for him. I think that's been requested. So I wouldn't be surprised if they eventually get to that point. But you have to admit, attractive females carry a lot more than an attractive guy skin will,
Oh,
right?
yeah, well, majority of your players are men that play games,
Well,
not
even
women.
if they're not men,
So
you'll have
and even then, it's not the same thing. Most women are not gonna be like, wanna see the naked butt cheeks of a guy
yeah,
dancing around. That's
exactly.
not what they consider sexy for most men.
No,
So,
but the
there
female
is a difference in
form,
what they look, one versus the other.
there's more people going to be attracted to the female form than just guys. There's a lot of women who like looking at this stuff too.
Eh, well, maybe, yeah, that's true. Well, I mean, as a player, I mean, I may not go that far, but when
Well,
I
let
play
me
female
rephrase.
characters, I want my female characters to be cute
Thank you.
or
Yeah.
pretty
Yeah.
or attractive or, sexy as my female character, is, so
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I'm getting a little distracted here. So one person ended up writing this one tweet here. Dread Roberts. So Dread Roberts he's a YouTuber, a gamer. I don't know if he's involved in games, and he does YouTube videos. I haven't really checked out his channel. This is the first time I've heard of him. He's probably bigger than me. Most people are, at least on YouTube. So he basically wrote a post that says, any person with a modicum of decency would say no. This is not where the future of gaming should be headed. The constant promotion of half-naked women as the greener side of gaming is getting ridiculous, and I'm beginning to think that these people who say they want to save gaming don't actually want to save it. So many claim to care about morals in the future generations and not given even an inch of progress to devs who push woke ideology or whatever else, but then they'll turn around and tell young men and women to support titles that throw this stuff in your face. Most of what I've seen for months now from these accounts are butt cheeks and cleavage. Oh my God, is this guy gay?
Oh, what's wrong? I'm sorry, but if that's what's selling and that's what people want and they're willing to buy your game, you're going to make your game the way
Yes.
your consumer wants and the way the market wants it. And the market wants that, you're going to do it. And I don't want to hear about this modicum of decency from somebody like this, because I'm sure this is another guy who has no problem, probably people doing OnlyFans, has problems with the current things that they do on TV, which push the envelope, and
Yeah.
cursing, sexual. I mean, not going all the way, but even on TV, I've seen certain things which are pretty close to people simulating sex on regular TV, which is why I don't watch regular TV anymore. But I mean, and kids can see any of these things, and you can go see all the stuff nowadays. I mean, so.
You see this
And
stuff
most of the
everywhere.
popular TV shows are like this, where you've got teenagers having sex and everything else, and it's
But see,
always okay and it's normal. And I mean, so it's everywhere. The failure of society has happened. We've gotten to this point where it's prolific, and they're dressed. They're not naked. They're
yes,
dressed
thank
women.
you.
They're also digital, pixels on a
Yep,
screen.
yep.
And if that makes
They're not
something
real.
enjoyable for someone to look at, it's no different. I mean, it's not really. I don't see what the big deal is.
But
I mean, I
here's
think
my
people get on
concern
their high
with
horse and want to preach to you about this stuff, and it's just a waste of words.
here's my concern with some of the arguments with the people, even your response here. We're kind of responding on his level, and we can't do that. And what I mean by that is we're arguing from the point of view that what he's saying is correct, at least in the sense that they're, what was it, half naked
Said
women,
no,
and
but I
that
said he's coming from this modicum of decency that people have to be this way to say no to this, and that's a fallacy.
well, no, but
I
what I'm
think
saying
he's
is I don't even agree that they're half naked. I mean, these
I
women are,
saw a butt and I see cleavage.
yeah.
Okay,
I mean, you see this
again,
stuff when you go
go
to
to the
the,
beach,
yeah, you go to the beach, go to your local pool, you will see.
go to a nightclub in some
Yes,
places,
yes. I mean, seriously, you know how many times? Now, look, would I want to see this
go to
walking
some
down
teenage football games. I mean,
sometimes? But would you want to see this walking down the street? No, we're not saying this is how everybody should be dressed. On in your daily life, we're not saying this is. Well, let me just finish his response. Hold on.
also, this is a fantasy game.
Yes.
It's not reality.
So he
This
goes
is
on to
where
say,
people should be able to go out and enjoy things and have fun with it without having somebody sit here and dictate and lecture you about what you should like and what you shouldn't like. And if you like this, you're a bad person. It gets to be ridiculous.
no, no, you're right. Now, so he goes on to say, seriously, how is this making gaming better? All we're doing is pushing normies in the same direction, but on a parallel track. People may argue we just want to push back on the ugly women agenda, just trying to make a point to the lefty weirdos. Okay, so where do we draw the line then? Because there doesn't appear to be one. This is why I say that we need real adults with real ambitions, aspirations, and a mature outlook on the future to lead the charge in this industry. People who have their priorities straight and their arousal in check. I know they're against uglifying women, but here's the problem I have with what he just said here. He's saying there needs to be a line. I don't think there needs to be a line. Hentai games already exist. You can go on Steam and find hentai games. I mean, look, what do you think this is right here that I've bought? I haven't installed it and played it, but I've bought it. It's one of those types of games. They exist already, right? So I don't want there to be a line. What we're trying to fight is essentially the erasure of attractive women, or just devs censoring what people can and can't put into a game, or drawing a dev, currently leftist devs, drawing their own line of what they will allow in the game, right? We
Right,
want,
yes, I think it's you're driving people to only to your way of thinking, right? You want to eliminate anything else that other people like or want. You want to say you can't like
yes.
this or want that because that's not mature or adult
And
enough.
that's
You
what
must
he's
like
doing
this.
here. Mhm.
And the
He's
game has to be
essentially,
this way to be correct and decent.
yeah, and he's
Right?
essentially saying, I want to fight censorship, but I'm going to replace it with my own version of censorship. I'm going to take their morals and do away with it and replace it with my own moral value. And that's the problem. That's what we don't want. That's what we don't like. We're not going to fight one version of oppression just to let it be replaced with another version of oppression, essentially.
Just let people make games.
Yes.
Everyone's, just don't try to force your game. If I don't like your game and I say I don't like your game, don't start calling me names because I don't like your game.
At the end of the day, a game, while some people want to say
Game is good, I will buy it.
Yes, exactly. But while some people will say game is art, I do agree, but it's also a consumer product. If you make something that your market doesn't want, they won't buy it. If you make something that the market is in support of and that they want, they will buy it. And guess what? Attractiveness sells. It always has. Sex is always sold, and it will continue to do so.
Always. Always, but I do think, it's also the way the game is. There are games where, what game were you playing before? Elder Scrolls? Is that the one? Elder Rings?
What?
The one where all the characters were mainly like really awful and you can make them look really terrible.
Oh yeah, Elden Ring. Yeah, but
that was part of the game.
Yeah.
And that's what you could do what you want.
But the graphic fidelity of that game was not
That's the way the game was designed, though, to have
Mhm.
kind of crazy characters like that. So if you have games where you can have crazy characters and they all look weird, and that's what the game is about, more power to you. That may not be a game that appeals to me, but it may appeal to others, and that's what you want to do.
Yeah, but that game
Great.
doesn't
Hopefully
appeal to
people buy
you.
it.
That game doesn't
That's
appeal to
Chris
you
Harrison.
not because of the characters, it's the game style, right? So
Yeah, it's the game style. That
Yeah.
game is that's the kind of game you guys like to bang your heads against the
If
wall
you die
over
more
and
than
over
once or
again. I
twice,
can't
you're
do that.
like, I'm good. I'm done.
As I've said before, I only have a certain amount of time, and I cannot invest the time
I
that
know.
other people do
I know.
to sit there and play games anymore for long periods of time. So
I
I kind of
agree.
have to be able to beat bosses within a certain period of time after a certain amount of attempts to keep progressing to make the game
I
enjoyable
know.
for me.
You can't beat
Because I only
you
have
just
a
beat
certain
your
amount of time
husband.
to do. Yes, well, I could do that too. So.
But this is the problem I have with this. And then one of these other women that I follow on X, because she's a big Tomb Raider fan, and she's been one of the people pushing back against this whole leftist activist grasp that has been going on in the entertainment and gaming industry. So her name is Melanie Mack, and she basically retweeted this or requoted, whatever you want to call it. I agree with this take. I've been fighting with y'all against the woke mob turning female characters into troons, and I like characters to look attractive, but I don't want to be lumped in with these pushing for practically soft-core porn in character design. That's degenerate. Curvy female characters like classic Lara Croft, great, but curvy characters almost completely naked doing stripper dances? No thanks. Muscular male characters, awesome, but these mods with Leon Kennedy and a jockstrap? Degenerate, which I do agree with, but I'm not going to sit here and say no. If they want to do that, they can do that. We can want characters to look good without advocating for porn. So seriously, would you? Is this a stripper move?
Not really. It's no dancer. Like I said, I could probably go to a spring break video right now and watch some girl dancing just like that.
I mean, all she's doing is going back and forth.
All she's doing is swaying.
Yeah, all she's doing is swaying back and forth. The only reason she thinks it's a stripper move is the fact that she's wearing essentially like a thong bathing suit. Well, it's not even a thong. Can we acknowledge what a thong really is? That's not a thong.
Yeah, it's not truly a thong, 100%. But yes, it's enough to show enough of the butt.
It's essentially the backside of a bathing suit for the most part. A little more cheeky bathing suit, mind you, but I've seen bathing suits like this at the beach. That's essentially what she came, and a lot of people had issues with this because she basically compared this and lumped it into essentially porn. It's softcore porn.
I think she's gone too far with that.
I
love Lara Croft. I love the old Lara Croft, and again, it goes back to I don't really why does it matter if people like that? You don't have to play that character. Let somebody else play that character. They love it. That's great. I don't consider that porn. I've seen some of the other ones you play that are much more, you mean women.
You mean
So
one
with,
like where is it? Where is it? Oh, it's on the Switch. It's not on Steam. Hold on. The pirate one, right?
Yes, exactly.
Where I have to sit here and massage the boobs to get the.
Yes, that one. Yes, exactly.
But
again, if people want to buy that, let them buy that. They look like that, let them look like that. Who are you?
It was this game right here.
We're
7 Pirates
judging
H.
all these people because they enjoy that game. Let them enjoy their game.
Yeah, but I think. Look, she's young, so she may not have been around for Skinamax. But I don't think she knows what softcore porn is. Truly.
Well, that's
If this
not
is what she
not
thinks it is, I don't think she knows what softcore porn is, because I can tell you right now, when I was a teenager, I tried every which way I could to get Cinemax. We would look through the snow on the TV, trying to peek a nipple here and there. And if
Where
someone
I used
happened
to see
to,
girls wear tights like this and wear bottoms like that, and like in the 70s, and they'd be roller skating down the
yes,
boardwalk.
or they're doing like whatever, one of those fitness classes you'd see
Ye
videotaped, and
Yeah,
or
exactly.
yep,
That's what I'm thinking of too. Yeah, I'm
yeah.
like, okay, because that was the
They have
that's
like the leg
going way
warmers
back,
on
but
and stuff.
yep, yep,
Yeah,
yep,
it's
exactly.
I've seen a lot of people have issues with her because they feel like she's a grifter, that she doesn't really believe what she's saying. And I don't know if that's the case, to be honest with you. I do know that she was very much pro LGBT years ago. Now it could just be that she claims that she's now a Christian and she loves Jesus, which I'm not going to follow her for that, because I'm a Christian. I love Jesus. I just also don't shy away from the beauty that he made, like some people who are Christians do. We're not going to go into all that. It's a different conversation. But if her views have changed, it could be for that. And it doesn't necessarily mean she's a grifter. It just means that she's a very much more strict Christian than I am. And you remember the 90s. You had video, like when Mortal Kombat came out, you had it censored. They censored the blood out. And then that's when they started this push that video games, violent video games, were a problem for kids, and they would make the kids violent. And you have that same push today, and it's not even from the religious right, but you still have people making that same argument today. And so the last thing, a lot of people who've pushed back against this, that's one of the things they're saying is like, look, we don't want to return to, yeah, we're not getting uglify characters anymore, but at the same time, you're still censoring what you feel shouldn't be allowed. And that's not what we want. We want people to make what they want to make and let the market decide whether the game is successful or not. If people like what you made, they will buy it.
I mean, so she would have a problem more like Baldur's Gate.
I don't know if she would or not. I haven't
She'd
seen
have to. She
you.
would have to based upon this because
Yep, I agree.
what are in those clips in Baldur's Gate?
Oh yeah. I mean,
Baldur's
some of
Gate
my
has
favorite clips. I mean, look
more
when
adult scenes in there,
yeah,
right? That's part of the game, and that's part of why people bought it.
look when I seduced Minthara. I mean, it was that scene. She was giving me a blowjob. It didn't
But
show the blowjob. I mean, it showed the back of her head down in that area, but it didn't show like the side view, so you couldn't really see it. But I was like, holy cow. I couldn't believe some of the scenes in that game were in the game.
well, I said that's where but she's complaining, but that was
Yeah.
the case, and those people there, they can be naked, they can have clothes on, you
yeah.
can dress whatever you want, you can dance, you can do all that stuff with them. But people love that game. I love the game because of the story, and I
Yep.
love the fact that my characters. I like the fact that I can make my own attractive character,
And you had freedom.
and
If you wanted to see
I
the
could do
stuff,
whatever I
you could.
wanted. I could, flirt with the girl. Like if I really wanted to, I could flirt with a guy.
You
You
did.
had
You flirted
anything
with
you
the girl.
wanted to do.
You were
So,
raised
never got the
Catholic.
girl.
You were raised in a Catholic
So,
church, and you flirted with Carlac. You were a lesbian.
yes,
Well, no, you weren't even a lesbian. I forgot. Your
I was a
guy.
guy
You
character.
were a
So
guy
thank you very
character. So
much.
that kind of fits, I guess. But I'm a pastor's kid, right? And I was a female, and I flirted with every female in the game. I even had sex with one of the little octopus guys.
Okay, not really you, but okay. Your character.
And the character, that's true. But that was the weirdest, freakiest shit I've ever done. But I did because I wanted to see what would happen. It was an option in the game, and I decided to
and then you're
take
like,
it.
yeah, try that. That was gonna kill you. I had to go back and reload my game after that. So yes, thank you very much for that.
It was, things like that in the game. It's as long as it's not forced, and you have the option to expose yourself to it, or you have the option to turn off. Like you could turn off the nudity to where you had like Adam and Eve type leaf things or pasties.
I mean, but she goes to Tsushima, where he gets in and out of the hot spring. I mean, do we need to censor
you
that
see
as
his
well?
naked butt. I mean, you would
I see
think
his
so.
naked butt.
Yeah.
I mean, I was like, woohoo! I gotta see a naked butt. I mean,
you would think
I love
so
that
based
game.
on her little statement
So,
here, and she
I'm
would
just
fight
saying,
it.
that didn't bother
But
me
when
any.
you see this, and she says she agrees with this guy, and she basically says, some of this stuff is degenerate, like almost completely naked. I'm sorry, she's being a little she's exaggerating here. It's hyperbole. Is that the right term? I mean, because that's not half naked. Not at all.
No.
It's not. I mean, look, all you see is right here, and you can see right here, you see she's got what appears to be some sort of long boots or something. She's got a top on, she's got a hat. This looks to be at least partially a cold outfit, right? Except for the booty cheeks.
Yeah.
But she's not half naked. And so it's her whole thing here is just stupid. And so a lot of people pushing back on her saying, we don't want your form of censorship. And she's like, I'm not calling for censorship. I'd find the tweets
You
back.
are,
Yeah.
but she's also, I mean, you're because you want people that, I mean, you're gonna have people that want more. I
Yeah.
mean, it's normal. You're giving a little bit, they're gonna want more, and the people make the games, people buy it. That's let them buy the game. If they're adults and they can make adult decisions, let people adult. You know, people do their own thing.
Yeah. I mean, I wonder how she feels about 2B in Near Automata. I mean, look at, I mean, this right here is essentially the same thing as what she saw in that clip. So if she has an issue with this, she has to have an issue with 2B and the outfit you can have in Near Automata. And here's the thing: she could say, "Well, you don't have to have it that way," which you don't. You can not have her look like this. You can keep the skirt on. Same thing can be said for Luna here. You don't have to have this outfit. You
Oh,
can wear a completely
you're
different
not
outfit.
forced to do anything. You can do whatever you want. They have whole body outfits. They have everything else. Stellar Blades. You can do
Mhm. Oh,
whatever
that's
you
another
want.
thing. She's a big proponent of Stellar Blade. I
The
mean,
thing is, like the person said right there, if they want fan service game, let them have it. I mean, that's fine. I don't care. You know.
a lot of people have pushed back, and this is just
As a person
crazy.
who believes in God as well, my God is not going to be like, oh, they are looking at women
Yeah.
doing that's nothing. That is nothing. I think God, if you want to go in the religious route, they could be more like, oh, actual porn would probably be an issue, not that.
All right, so this one last tweet we'll look at real quick. It's from Grimes. Grimes is, I don't know if you've probably not heard of him because you're not online. He used to work for Blizzard, the company that made World of Warcraft.
Hmm.
So he came out after all this backlash. He said, "Pull it together, team. They are using this to try to confuse, disrupt, and defeat you from taking gaming back." Yeah, I don't agree with that at all. Stop this petty infighting and focus on the goal. Everybody fights, nobody quits. So I basically said this, and a lot of people kind of echoed the same thing. I told him, says, "Nah, man, I'm not going to fight one oppressor just to end up with a new one." A lot of
That's
people,
fun throwing one overlord to get another one.
yes, yeah, it's a this other person. I don't know if this is actually AI or not. I see them tweeting a lot. I think they just deal with AI art, but they basically said people are pushing back because a lot of us lived through the 80s and 90s when D&D, tabletop gaming, music, movies was labeled as satanic. I mean, you remember what they did with Elvis and The Rock when it first came out? I wasn't old enough for them, but some people were maybe, but I do remember what happened because of stories and history being passed down.
Well, D&D was like for the devil,
Yeah, yeah.
so you know.
Yeah, early
So
PC games were also attacked by the Christians. Their opinions are not the problem. It's their incessant need to put themselves, just as the left does, as arbiters of all that is decent and good. It's based on the religious beliefs. They can fuck off like the rest of them. This is not infighting. This is the ongoing battle against censorship. They will try to force this on people just as the left did. You are old enough to remember the 80s and 90s censorship pushes. This will come back in full force once they perceive the rest of us have served their purpose. And that's why, and I completely agree with what these guys are saying. So I don't want to fight with you just to then turn around and have to fight you. You can't sit here and say you don't want censorship and then turn around and try to apply your own version of censorship. Look, and this applies to the left too. If the left wants to make the queerest, most activist game
go
possible,
for it.
go for it. I mean, they pretty much did with Dragon Age Veilguard.
And if no one buys it, well,
Yes.
because your market doesn't want that. It's been the problem with most of the games right now that people are deploying. They aren't giving people what they want. They're not making these games good. They're not giving people the aesthetics they want. I mean, the games that are giving people what they want, they're the ones that have been selling lately.
The point basically is that, look, as much as I just said that they could make the queerest game if they wanted to. Do I necessarily want them to do that? No, because what they end up doing is they're pushing their own agenda, their own ideology into these games artificially, and they do it in a bad way. I mean, there was a lot of, you could say Baldur's Gate 3 is very progressive, but they did it in the right way. It had the options to partake in this stuff if you wanted to. You had the options not to if you didn't want to. The storyline had nothing to do with that stuff. The storyline itself was really good, and the
I mean,
gameplay was really good.
the original Fable,
Yeah,
you could sleep with women,
yeah.
you could sleep with guys. And they didn't ever show anything, but they'd have the funny things when you were doing all that stuff. And I mean, that was part, and it was just built into the thing. You didn't really think about it. It wasn't like they were said anything. You could do whatever you want. You make your character evil, good, sleep with this person, sleep with that person, kill your wife,
Mhm.
do anything else like that. I mean, it's
If
all
you
come on.
allow the player to have the freedom to do pretty much anything they want in the game, well, obviously within certain restrictions, because but anyway, if you allow the player to have that much freedom in a game, if your game is good, it will succeed. Now, if you're pushing an agenda and trying to force your ideology, which was what they did with Dragon Age Veilguard, or putting in pronouns. What the biggest issue gamers have is not when something's progressive, it's when they take something that's very much obviously from current day politics, right? And they force it into the game. Stuff that's already very divisive. That's the problem a lot of people have. Not that a game is progressive. Like I said, Baldur's Gate 3 is the prime example here. It was very progressive. People loved it because it was a good game. The storyline was good and it wasn't forced with modern day current bullshit. But you and I, when we're doing the character creator, I could see that you could equip a woman with boobs, but you can also give her a dick. At no point in time did I think, oh my God, that's the transgender crap from today. No, I didn't think that. I thought, oh, that's cool. It shocked me. I laughed at it and I quickly switched it back off. The first thing I thought of when I saw that was Fuda. It's the hentai stuff, right? With an anime girl with a dick. So I didn't immediately go to current day transgender crap. It also helps that nobody from Baldur's Gate 3's studio, which I think is called Larian, was over on Twitter making all of this activist, ideology bullshit tweets at the time, right? They only tweets they made was about the game. So you didn't already come into the game with red flags and concerns. And so that whenever you do see something that might be slightly progressive, instead of assuming it's done well, you automatically make the connection to the tweets and the agenda pushing that these people are doing on Twitter that made the game. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, when they're an activist like that, that's all they are. That's the summation of their whole being. It's just that crap. So everything they touch, everything they do has to have all of this stuff in it. It has to be there. So that impacts their ability to write good stories and it impacts their ability to even be good employees and just live a normal life because they see it everywhere. It's like, we've seen it with online or in stories or on Twitter or in the news. Whenever you see something happen to somebody, if one of the people happen to be black, there's always going to be somebody who screams racism. Because there's people out there who live life with color tinted glasses. Everything they see has to do with race. Everything they deal with or talk about or do has race involved. So if they see something, they're automatically going to apply or associate race with it, right? So that if something happens bad to a black guy, it's racist automatically. It's the same thing with these activists. They apply their whole identity politics to
Well, the
everything
problem
they do.
is that a lot of things they're making, I think they're making for a very small portion of the population instead of the majority of the population, especially when it comes to gaming.
Yeah, pretty much. That's all I wanted to go, talk with you about and get your opinion. Cause I'm like, look, you're a woman, Melanie was a
I
woman.
am? I think
Yeah.
I may be.
Last
I
I
might.
inspected, maybe I'll need to do another inspection tonight, just to
Oh,
double
God.
check.
Uh-huh.
Instead of calling you Michelle, maybe I should be calling you Michael. Who knows?
Uh-huh.
But I appreciate you coming on and having this discussion with me. At least making sure that I'm not crazy, right? So
Oh, we're not saying that, but
I do appreciate it. And thank you very much. And I love you. And I will see you in a little bit while we eat popcorn.
W.
All right. Love you. Bye.